Welcome back, VeeFam. I'm Mr. Messer back with you with another special episode of the VeeFam sessions. I'm with my good friend, Nicolle LaFosse, the Crypto Attorney. Nikki, how are you?
I am good. How are you, Rob?
Amazing. So happy that we can finally do this. You know, we met in Miami and totally hit it off. Loved your vibe, loved your energy, and you were everything that the VeeFam everything that you could expect for someone in the VeeFam. So happy you could be on this podcast and share a little bit about yourself. And with that said, you know, I always like to take people back. Can you give us a quick, like 55-second cliff notes on who Nicolle LaFosse is pre-NFTs and Web3?
Okay, great. So pre-NFT, I used to be a typical attorney. I dealt with corporations, intellectual property, copyrights. I was like the, suit up attorney, going to the office type of thing. And now I'm this like completely out of the box attorney who deals with the grayest of the grayest areas of the law regarding NFTs, DAOs, DeFi, securities, anything that may seem like very difficult to solve or just has no precedent. I'm there. Like that's my bread and butter, and I love it every single day. And now I get to wear sneakers and t-shirt for work.
Amazing. Yes. You like the lounging life and not the button up pantsuits.
Oh my God, I love
Did
it.
you, were you, I mean, as a kid, did you always want to be a lawyer? How did you end up in that field?
Well, I'm come from a family of attorneys. My mom, my dad, my grandfather, aunts. Like the only one who's not an attorney is my oldest brother, who's a mechanical engineer. But like from the rest of the family, I've always had like that in my daily conversation about pleadings, motions, what to do, what to argue, what not to do. The other party said this and that. So I kind of grew up in that environment. At first, I didn't want to be an attorney just because I want to be a rebel. But then I'm like, okay, wait, let me get into my senses. Is this really me being a rebel? Because if it is, then I might as well just, it's going to ruin my life if I take the wrong decision about going the other way, which I didn't know what way was the right way, right?
Sure. You never know.
Right, exactly. So then I just decided like, okay, let me do this attorney thing. I'm not sure what branch of law I wanted to. I just knew I liked the very difficult things to solve. I didn't like the something that's too mechanical. So I went into international law. I dealt with international cases. Some of the biggest ones were international arbitration between United States and Honduras, for instance, my home country, or just between the US and any other country. So international law matters was my thing.
Fascinating. And were you born in Honduras?
Yeah, I was born and raised. I'm a Honduran attorney. I was crazy enough to go back to law school in the US, get a second degree in law in the United States.
Okay.
So now I am a Honduran bar attorney and a United States bar attorney. I'm that crazy.
Amazing. I think it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. All right. So let's go another route here of your life. When was the first time you heard the name Gary V?
Well, that was so my brother was the one who introduced me to NFTs, crypto, and Web3 in general. He showed me an NFT that was like a red apple with a green leaf. It was worth $500. I was like, wait, how? Like I can do this on Paint. Like, why would people pay this? And I started getting curious about it. He showed me the apes, the bored apes. He showed me the crypto kitties and showed me a couple of Gary V's. And I'm like, oh, I like this guy. I mean, his art looks interesting, but it looks like he drew this himself. So why is it like, why is it people at first I got it like, okay, there's cool art, like it represents something and they're not easy to do. And then I see Gary's handmade NFTs. I'm like, wait, what? I can do this. Why are
The
people not
kindergarten
paying me?
drawings, yeah.
And then I started researching him and learning about what he did, how he did things. And it's just the way he comes across. It inspires you. And not just in the business perspective, but in the personal aspect too. Like on my bad days, I see one of his videos and it just lights me up. It picks me up. It makes me keep on going. It makes me believe on what I'm doing. Because with crypto, with NFT, with Web3, I think I'm not alone in thinking there's days where you're like, man, is this really a thing? Like, am I really working this hard for something that might just like blow off tomorrow? And, I think we've all been in that position. And as an attorney, I'm betting my whole career on that because I'm a crypto attorney, right? So it does get under my skin when I have a bad day. I start, doubting myself. Is it this the thing that I should be doing? Then I go back to see Gary Vee's videos about, how to keep on going, how to embrace failures, how to embrace your bad days, what to expect, what to do, what not to do. And usually he doesn't say what not to do. He tells you do it. Because if you shouldn't have done it, now you learned from it. Now you failed and you know how not to fail on the same area again. So it helps me keep on going.
Bingo. That's amazing. So, and yeah, I think that's true for any field. Everyone's gonna have those days and just kind of like step outside of themselves and like, what am I doing? Like, where am I going? But to your point, I think it's totally amplified in this space that's like no one's still really sure about. It's super, super new. There's a lot of crazy things going on. So that's fantastic to hear that he has that crutch for you. So you were introduced and V1 was already out. Was there a piece of content? I know he puts out an extraordinary amount. Was there a piece that resonated with you that pushed you from like, okay, like he's got, these drawings that I could do to like, okay, like I really am digging this guy? Is there one that sticks out?
Not really, because every single video or podcast that I see and listen to from him, he touches a different aspect of my life in a personal way. So it's really hard because it's like the sum of small particles that make it all together, that make it all glued together. Like if I see one of his videos, I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, he has a nice reach, good stamina, good energy, and that's it. But if you continuously see him, listen to him, see what he's doing, where he's growing, and also how humble he is. I know a lot of people who have half of the wealth and even less of the wealth that he has, and they're just like, man, they won't even give you the time of the day. So that's one of the things that I think it touches a lot of people on that aspect.
Amazing. So, and we're going to get into how you became the crypto lawyer. But at the beginning, when you're dabbling, your brother's showing you this world, did you get into the buying, watching the floor prices? Did you get into that game at all? Did you get sucked in?
I did.
All right, so tell me about that experience. What were some of the ones you dabbled, saw?
Oh, that was crazy because on that stage, I knew nothing about NFTs. So of course I knew nothing, and I didn't want to just like throw money at something that I didn't know what am I gonna do with this? Like, cool, I can print a T-shirt, and then what? And so I started researching a lot. Like, literally had a printed page with acronyms of what's GM, what what's NGM and all this stuff. So I couldn't read a whole paragraph without going back to my little notes and reading what this specific word meant or what this acronym meant. And it got to a point where it was overwhelming because every single thing that I read, I had to read something else. Like, say, I'm reading about NFTs. Okay, now I need to learn about blockchains. Okay, now I need to read about tokens. Okay, now I need to read about tokenization. Okay, now what's a smart contract? And I went back to the loophole of all the components that are part of the NFTs. And then I'm like, wait, so we have a smart contract here. Okay, what's a metadata? What do I put in there? Can I do this myself? Do I need to learn coding? And then at some point, I thought I had to learn coding. And I almost went to some coding classes because I'm like, if I will be a crypto attorney, I need to know code, which I think was a mistake that I happily avoided. And one of Gary's video actually helped me with this, because I think this was a video or a podcast where he said, listen, guys, I'm not good at everything, but I am able to hire someone who's actually good at doing that thing that I'm so bad at. You don't have to be good at everything. There's a lot of things that you're not good at it, period. And you don't have to stress it. You don't have to go into a master class and spend hours and then still feel like, like crap because you're still not the best person at it, because that person who's best at it has been doing it for years. And that's just not your strength. So yeah,
you were happy to hear that you did not have to enroll in a coding course.
Well, yeah, because for me, that's like rocket science. I've never dealt with code before I was a crypto attorney. And now I've learned, I've took some like small lessons here and there. And I know enough to talk with someone who knows about code. I know enough to have a conversation and to know when someone is BSing me about code. So
enough. You know enough to sniff out the intentions of everyone talking to you about it.
Right.
Amazing.
Like I do code myself, but I know what I'm looking for.
So you caught the bug. I just want to read a tweet back from February 10th, 2022. He said, God, I love NFT and crypto. It's like a drug. The more I learn about it, the more intrigued and involved I get. What a fascinating ecosystem this is. Hashtag WAGME, hashtag LaFosse Law is getting into the nitty gritty. Yes, yes, yes. So you're in it.
Yes.
Now, where in last year, or maybe it was even at the end of 2021, when did you decide, like, hey, like I'm gonna really take my firm, my whole career into this direction, into this world?
It was October when I decided to open my practice, and from October, I think all the way till I think the end of January, I had a small client, someone who needed some basic stuff regarding to contracts and some corporate structure. They wanted to do their NFT project and they didn't know where to start. So it kind of got my wet feet on the field. And it was a project that regarded cartoons. It was an NFT project. They made a series of cartoons and they wanted to make these cartoons into a live YouTube series, like Netflix does, but for
Sure.
YouTube using NFTs. So I started researching more cartoons and platforms that were doing similar things, and it was just fascinating because it was so refreshing as an attorney to not deal with like the dry area of law and start dealing with artists, with creators, with developers, with the fun part of law, which I didn't know it existed altogether.
That's a really interesting perspective and point. Yeah, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like this whole new world just opened up for you.
Yeah, and I could just be myself, because before I had to filter myself. I couldn't be this outgoing, colorful, fresh attorney. I had to be dry, short on my words, a little bit stiff on my appearance. And I felt like I couldn't be myself altogether. And it paid well, but it was not a happy, how can I put it? It wasn't my happiest at my profession like I am now.
That's amazing. And that's, not to bring Gary into every facet of this, but that's the game, right?
Yeah.
Like what good is the money if you're not enjoying what you're doing?
That is
in
true.
your process, in your day to day. So that's amazing to hear. So you become a crypto lawyer. Now, is it just as easy as that? And like that's the kind of cases, and then that's work you're doing. Like, what do you have to do? And from a generic standpoint, like what are some of the things you have to do to position yourself as that in the market?
So at first, when I used to have my regular attorney job, I started studying NFTs, Web3, like like I mentioned before, have my little notepad with my acronyms, and it got very overwhelming because I couldn't understand enough to follow the path of the articles that I was reading, because I need to learn the lingo first in order to follow the idea that these articles are giving. Or if I go into YouTube and I start listening to Gary, and Gary talks about tokenization and the IPs of NFTs, and I'm like, man, what IP of NFTs? What the hell? How do you put an NFT with an IP, intellectual property? And I knew about intellectual property. I just didn't know how it applied to NFTs, because I didn't know they had an intellectual property of itself before I got into the nitty gritty. And so I started learning, and it was a lot to take my regular day job and to study the field, the ecosystem. But I learned enough that I started posting stuff and small videos, small clips, and people started reaching at me like, hey, I have a consultation. I took the consultation. It got to a point where I had too many consultations, and I'm like, okay, this is a wake-up call. If there's so much demand and there's very few attorneys who know about this, why is it that I'm not there? Like I could do this for a living. But it was a bet on my life, right? It was a bet on my future. Like, is this really a thing? So I took the bet. I took the leap of faith. I opened my own practice. And it's not easy. It's not easy because you come from a traditional practice where you have a nice income, consistent monthly paychecks, you got your benefits, all that good stuff. But you come to open your own practice, and you're not just opening your own practice without having a consistent monthly income. You're also opening a practice in a field where everybody's questioning, can you really do this for life? Like, I know there's some hot stuff going on right now, and this is coming from other attorneys, seasoned attorneys. And they're like, well, cool, but like, what else? And I'm like, nothing. That's it. I'm a crypto attorney. But what else do you do? I'm like, nothing. And they're like, okay, are you able to do this for like life? I'm like, I hope so. So, these little worms start getting into your head. Like, man, am I really doing this? Like, should I be taking on something on the side? Financially speaking, you need something to pay the bills on a consistent manner. That, the landlord is not going to tell you like, yeah, crypto came down and okay, I'll give you a break on your rent this month. No.
No.
So I think that's one of the hardest things with crypto. I'm not getting paid in crypto because it's just too volatile, and I don't recommend anyone to get paid in crypto. But the ups and downs does affect my, my financial status. Not because of crypto itself, not because of the value of the coin, but because having your own practice means you don't have a salary that you can count on. You have to pretty much.
You're an entrepreneur.
I'm sorry?
You're an entrepreneur, essentially.
Exactly. I'm an entrepreneur, 100%. I'm always hustling, always putting up some fresh content, and that content becomes stale very soon, very fast. Like I can tell you, I uploaded this video today about SEC, securities, tokenization, fractionalized NFTs, and then tomorrow, that video is no longer good because something happened and that doesn't apply anymore. So I have to always, every single day, I have to keep myself very informed about what's going on in every single aspect of what I do on my daily life. And with my clients, I always tell them, we're going to have a plan of action. We're going to have some artillery if things go south so that we can have enough protection to defend ourselves. But don't be surprised if tomorrow everything that we've been working for goes to hell, is no longer applicable, and now we have to sit down again and establish a new action plan, because this is what the field is. This is what the grayest area of law is.
The rules and targets are changing as the game moves on.
And it's fascinating to me because it's not even that new. A lot of the applicable law, it's already existing. Like it's heavy contract law, heavy IP, trademark, corporate structure, all those things we've dealt with before, Ponzi schemes. All this is not new. What's new is the application towards a new business setting, which we can all handle if we know enough about the space.
I imagine, I have to, maybe I'm overgeneralizing. I have to imagine that many people are coming to you, not in a proactive way. They're coming to you when they have a problem or when there's an issue on the horizon. What are some of the reasons that people are coming to you or need a crypto lawyer in their life?
So I have, I could say I have a 50-50 almost. 50% of those individuals already have issues, a lot of fraud going in the space. OpenSea seizing assets, freezing their NFTs, then we have subpoenas being airdropped by the court on your NFTs. Some
Really?
of them, yeah, I mean, I haven't dealt with that myself, but I've had cases where OpenSea has frozen their assets because there is a red flag about where these funds are coming from, or someone probably put a claim saying, hey, this person with this wallet address, they did something to me, something shady, X, Y, and Z that I cannot mention. And then OpenSea takes action and says, okay, we're going to freeze this until the problem is solved. So I've dealt with that part of the space, fraud in which there is an investor who happens to just make a rug pull, typical rug pull in the space. And there's a couple of millions in play in there. This person just disappeared out of the blue. But then they have the other aspect of the clients where there are startups and they're not sure of what they're doing. They know they have a great idea. They know they have great talents as an artist, as a developer, as a coder, whatever, all the aspects of Web3 ecosystem that we know of. But they don't know exactly what is it that they're doing enough to know that they're not breaking the law. So They come to me and they tell me, hey, listen, I have this project. This is what I want to do. This is my point A, and I want to get to point B in this way. And I start literally I become devil's advocate on their project. I tell them all the things that the project has that will probably go wrong, all the things that may be getting them into legal issues down the road, maybe not immediately, but down the road. And I start pretty much finding all the loopholes that they have on their project. And they get scared naturally because they have this great idea. And they're like, man, you just crushed my dreams. It's like, you're telling me all the bad stuff that's coming up from my dream. And I'm like, I'm not crushing your dream. I'm just telling you there's a different way to make your dream happen without going through all these back steps that you would probably be going through.
You're trying to save them time and disappointment and just...
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is with startups is that at the beginning, no one's going to come after you. They're going to come after you when you're big. And you will be big because that's what Web3 does. It allows you to become bigger than you would otherwise be able to on a regular business aspect. A lot of the bureaucracy is out. A lot of the traditional obstacles are out. Financial aspects, people are willing to invest in you if your project is something that the community supports, which is something that is new and novel. But with all that, you also have a lot of legal matters that you need to put in place that are not visible to the public, but will become visible to you when someone comes back at you and says, oh, you're now big. You now have big pockets. Let me see where I can put a little hiccup to your project.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be so many little, every project is different. Every set of circumstances is different. There's got to be so many little nuances among all of the people you talk to and the projects that come across your desk. So you've carved out this little niche. I've seen, you've been a speaker. It seems like everywhere. Just looking through your feed, NFT NYC, Miami. You've ran the gauntlet. So between consults and your clients and I'm just talking to people on the speaker circuit, you've probably come across a lot of different kinds of themes. What's like one or two like of the biggest misconceptions or misnomers out there for people, as far as something that they think is okay and it's really not, or vice versa? Is there one or two that come to mind as just a general misconception?
Oh, that it's general misconception number one, big number one, is it's an easy money maker. Big misconception on NFTs, on crypto, on Web3 in general. It's not really easy. Like making a flip, it is easy, but in order for you to make a successful flip, you would have had to do
not easy for me. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. I
had to throw that in there.
I think we've all made our flips and we've been successful. Yes. But, how many flips will you be doing that are actually successful? It's going to get
exactly.
You're like, you lost all your money on this. But in order to do this successful flip, mind you, there's hours of research behind it, starting from why did you buy it in the first place? Why did you buy this NFT? Then if you bought it to make a flip, then you probably made a lot of research as to what the forthcoming value of this NFT will become if it is successful. But it could also happen that the mint is just like, you and a couple of others bought it and there's really no movement around it. So I think that's the general misconception, that it's an easy money maker because of the flips. But crypto and Web3 are way more than just the flip. It's the blockchain technology behind it, what's make it big. We're using it in agriculture, in pharmaceuticals, in engineering, artists, attorneys, like running your own attorney firm using blockchain technology makes a lot of process more efficient than it would otherwise be. And I think once you get into NFTs, like a lot of my clients, startups mainly, they start seeing that it's not as easy as they thought. When I start telling them all the things that need to go into place and all the documentation that they have to have ready because they need to be protected, period, they get worried and they're like, man, I thought this was easier because we have the platform ready, we have the designs, we have our NFTs, like it's ready to just hit launch, mint, and good, we make the money. We make a couple of mils in the mint. I'm like, yeah, but you could make your couple mils. But there's a couple other things that have to go in place so that you don't lose that money that you just made. And this couple mils that you earned during mint, a lot of people don't see the work behind it. It's been years of putting together this project for you to get to the point of minting and then getting this money. And all these people who work for years before minting time, a lot of them are being paid on sweat equity. So that means they're being paid nothing. They're just putting their time, their effort, and all their energies into banking for something that they don't know it will pan out. But it all depends on how much they believe on themselves and in the project for it to pan out. Now, the second misconception I've seen is that it's from the famous people, from the celebrities. Celebrities think that because they are a celebrity, it's a matter of launching an NFT project and boom, they'll make it. Just like if, they have a new song, a new video, a new movie, they're just going to make it because they are who they are. But a couple of celebrities have tried to do that without having the personal community engagement and having a PR person, hiring this other person to run their Discord, hiring this other artist to design their art, but their involvement is nothing. And they haven't been successful. And that's because they misunderstand or they just don't know the power of what the community is. And Web3, it's a community-based business. Without community, you got nothing. Without community, I got no clients. Without community, I got no views on my video.
It's
Without
everything.
We wouldn't be talking here on a podcast. What's the purpose?
It's everything. And that's a fantastic segue. Nikki, hold on one second.
Sure.
All right, sorry about that.
Okay.
That's a fantastic segue, because community, a lot of people don't see the work, to all your points, that goes into building that community. And, community is the lifeblood of anything. So, bring this back to VeeFriends a little bit. What was your first taste of the VeeFriends community?
Wow. It was breathtaking. First up, because I wasn't aware that I could meet so many nice human beings in the same place at the same time. On my traditional practice as an attorney, you deal with a lot of sharks, with a lot of tough people to handle. Not the nicest individuals. Not a lot of people like attorneys because they have a fame of not being the nice, hardly, warm people that will help you out of the goodness of their heart, unless they're billing you for something.
So I've heard. I'm
sure you have. I'm not one of those. I am a crypto attorney. I'm not one of those. So with
I could vouch for that.
Thank you. With VeeFriends, I was surprised about that. How many good-hearted people I met all at once that are part of the same community. And this all happened because of one person, Gary Vee. And this is not the best comparison, but remember how Hitler moved masses of people, even those who were against his principle. He had this power over masses of people to do the things that his ideology stand for.
Yep.
The opposite is with Gary, because his ideology is to be happy. His ideology is for you to be successful at whatever the hell you do, in whatever circumstances you have, with whatever amount of money you have. And when you put this ideology together, like-minded people come together. And usually when you have these like-minded individuals, they're all good-hearted people because they're hustling and they understand that each one of us has their own hustle. And there's no reason why I shouldn't help you with your hustle when I am able to, without expecting anything in return. I've never seen this before. And it's sad, but I'm also very happy that I've now discovered this Gary Vee community where I know I can reach to anyone. Like, we just met once in over Miami conference, and I feel like I can talk to you like a friend. Like, if I have an issue or anything, I know I can reach out to you and you wouldn't judge me. You wouldn't tell me, yeah, well, this is my hourly fee.
You're absolutely right. It's a beautiful thing, and it's a special thing. And that's one of the many reasons I, carve out time to do this.
Yeah.
Within this community, because it's not just for content or whatever. Like, it's just to get to talk at a more personalized level, one-on-one level, with genuinely good people.
Yeah. So I'm from Honduras, and people from Honduras have reached out to me telling me, hey, Nikki, do you mind talking to me about what is an NFT? I want to invest, but I'm not sure how to. And I tell them, yeah, sure, let's schedule a call this day, this time. And they come to me and they tell me, I've asked many people in Honduras, people who I know they're dealing with crypto, and they wouldn't give me the time of the day because they don't want me to be informed because they think I'm their competition. I'm like, listen, he's no competition to you. You're no competition to them, because this is way too big for anyone to be an actual competitor from one another. And if you are, then bring it on, because competition is what makes us grow. But don't hate on the competition, embrace it and learn from it. And this person was just very happy that I sat down with him to help him learn. And this is something that not many do. Not many people, not in Honduras, not in the US, do. Just give your time to teach someone without charging a penny for it. And for me, I do it because I want people to learn. I want people to understand what this is. I want people to avoid doing as many mistakes as possible. I've done them and I learned from them. And I've learned from people who have done mistakes that I have avoided. So it's kind of like paying it forward.
Of course, and I think that's one of the pillars of this community is just to give.
Yeah, and it makes it beautiful. It makes it makes the world so much nicer.
It is. It's just nice. It's just nice. It feels good. It's just amazing juju. So were you in Minnesota for VeeCon or no?
I wasn't,
Okay.
but I got my hotel booked for this one.
Let's go, Indianapolis. Crypto lawyers coming through.
Oh yeah. Ta-ta.
So what was your first IRL experience, getting to talk with people in the community? Was it Miami or
I think it was Miami. Yeah, I think Miami was my first conference. And from
Amazing.
there, it just exploded. It was Miami, Madrid, New York. I was supposed to be on my way to Switzerland right now, but the conference got canceled because apparently FTX news was too much for them to handle. So they canceled that conference. But yeah, I've been in a couple of places by now, but my first experience was Miami, and the reaction was something that I didn't expect because I wasn't, I'm no one really. I'm no one. I'm a crypto attorney. Cool. That's it. Period. Like I'm no one. So I wasn't expecting people to engage with me as much as they did. But the demand keeps on surprising me every second of the day. Like, I don't think there's that much demand until I literally pop out an idea, say something, and then people just like, I need to ask you something else. I need to pick your brain. I need to have a coffee with you. So it was nice. And I didn't meet any Gary V's that I knew of at that moment. I actually met my first group of Gary V people when I met you over Miami. Was in November last year? Miami week, I think.
Yeah, December.
Oh, is this December?
Oh, I think it was November, December. I think it was that weekend of the
It was
crossover.
like the Art Basel and a whole like 4 conference in the same week.
I remember, like I remember it vividly because I don't know if you were at the takeover event.
I was.
I don't think we crossed paths there. There's a lot of amazing people there, very well attended. But my last day of the trip was Friday, and my flight was at night, and I just kind of left the day open. I didn't have anything scheduled, so I went to Gateway, and I just kind of there was a couple of talks that I really wanted to check out. So I just kind of went solo, and like there's Lisa and Michelle and you, just kind of VeeFriends knowing VeeFriends, and like what started as like a hello ended up being like lunch, and like the rest of the day, like coffee, espresso, like the entire day just hanging out, like, and it was amazing. Like to your point, like it was like we were old friends, and it was awesome. And that's the community.
Right? Like it's so hard to find someone that your energy just matches enough to feel very comfortable to just hang out, to do literally whatever comes through the day over an NFT conference. Like usually people, when you meet someone, you get a little bit, hi, hello, how you doing, blah, blah, and then you go part ways. But with VeeFriends, people just hang out. Like we went to Versailles this one day over the week of NFT Miami conference thing. And we were, I think, 15 people, VeeFriends, from whom they had met once over the first VeeCon was it Minnesota?
Yep.
In Minnesota last time. And this was the second time they met in person in real life. So, putting a 15 people table together it doesn't happen just like that. And especially with people who haven't met in real life, like more than twice. That was the second time. And for me, It was the first time meeting all of them. So that was pretty cool. The energy is absolutely amazing.
It sure is. It's like, we could talk.
And from there, Lisa and myself, because we're going to NFT New York this week. Well, not this week. Sorry. This coming April, we're gonna stay with some of VeeFriends.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, they have their own Airbnb, so they're like, hey, why aren't you girls just, stay at our Airbnb, and we're gonna be doing exactly the same things, attending the same events, same conferences. So you don't get these invitations from just anyone.
No, you're probably not going to get it at your law conferences. Amazing. So, I want to get into, it's January 11th when we're recording this. I saw you posted a kind of I don't know if you coined it as resolution, but just some goals, and you're crushing the content. I love it. You definitely drinking Gary's Kool-Aid on that front, just delivering value. But last year, your goal for 2022. Oh, I just had the tweet up here. So on December 29th, 2021, you said, GM, one of my 2022 goals is to get a V2, even though I don't have a V1 or bought the books. And then you tagged Gary and Team Gary and all that. You did end up getting a V2 in 2022. So give us a little story on that. And I love the strategizing because, the more and more I get to know you, that's one of your strengths.
Right. So I bought the book series. I didn't have the book. I read the book because Lisa had bought, I don't know how many boxes of books. So she gave me one of her books.
Shout out Lisa Lopez. Yes.
Shout out to Lisa Lopez. So she gave me one of those books. I read it in no time. I'm like, man, I have to, this guy is just awesome. Like, the more I learn about Gary Vee, the more I'm like, man, this guy really knows what you need when you're reading about what he does. There's just a way of him that he reaches the exact spot that you need to be reached at for you to grow on a professional and personal level, mind you. So I read his book and I'm like, okay, I need to get into the book games because for me to be able to have a series 2, I need to get the book games. So I started minting day came, right, for the books. And I have this specific amount of money to spend for the books. I wanted, obviously, the rare ones, but I couldn't afford them. And I started just spending so much time browsing around because they came out little by little. He didn't show them all at once. You kind of, I think they were loading little by little. Mm-hmm. And I spent almost a full day just doing that. Not working, just looking at the book games.
You got sucked into the vortex.
Oh my God, I did. I so badly did. So I bought the book games and then I'm like, yes, okay, now I'm ready to buy my series 2. And I got selected to buy my series 2. I was super excited. It was my brother, it was Lisa and myself. The three of us were connected on the computer. We were connected on the phones. We were like chatting with each other, like, man, 2 seconds, 1 second, go. It was just a thrill, when you go into the minting and you have other people minting with you, the thrill is awesome.
Amazing.
So they didn't get their series 2. I think they were not able to, not during minting. And I think they got one. But they had enough book games and to get another one, but they were only selected to get one. And I got selected with fewer book games to get my one NFT series 2.
Do you remember how many book games, how many raffle
3.
chances? So you went 1 for 3.
Yes.
Amazing.
Because I couldn't afford more. So I'm like, I'm going to get my 3. Hoping I can get series 2.
I can't remember if I went 0 for 2 or 0 for 3, but I wasn't as lucky, but it all worked out in the end.
Yeah, exactly. So and it was like I felt like I was still a newbie. I still feel like I'm a newbie because every single day there's something new.
Oh yeah, there's as far as what they're working on their team, there's always new partnerships, there's always new news. Super exciting. And then, there's the community where, you don't even need a V2 or a V1 or whatever. You just need to be like everything what we've been talking about, just a good person. You know, come with a good attitude and, ready to give, and you're well on your way.
Exactly.
So your V2 is a strategizing. What was it again?
I think it's a fox. I never
Is it the
figured what
lemur?
it was.
Well, it's cute, whatever it is.
It's a strategizing one, just like I do every day.
Exactly. I think that's perfectly fitting for you.
Let me see. I'm taking a look at it right now. I think it is a fox. It looks like a fox. It's on my Twitter, PFP. I think it's a fox. It's a strategizing fox.
Awesome. So, a couple questions before we head to the last segment here. I don't know how well you're, educated on all of the characters and things, but if there was one character that you needed to spend more time with, meaning you need to, by osmosis, you need to get more of whatever they're putting out there into the world, whether it's, organized ostrich or gratitude gorilla or patient panda. What character do you, Nicolle LaFosse, think you need to spend more time with?
That's a hard one because every single one has a quality that I need to reinforce. But I think one that I identified myself is, I think it's called hardworking ant.
Hardworking wombat?
Yes.
So you think you need to be a harder worker?
No, I feel like I identify.
Oh, you identify. Excuse me.
Now,
Gotcha.
I think organizing panda is the one that I definitely need. It's like, I'm working on that. It's tough because you get submerged into doing what you do every day. That
Right.
rest of the things start just like piling up, and you're like, I'll get to it later, and you just like throw things here, throw things there, and your personal life just starts like going messy around you. So I think I need to be more organized on that.
So are you trying to say that you're hiring a paralegal right now for yourself?
Well, I definitely need the help. This year I probably have to hire a couple of I need a paralegal, and I need probably a virtual assistant because it's a lot. It's a lot.
I can't even imagine with all of
And we're growing
the plate
so
spinning.
fast. It's crazy. I would have never been able to grow this fast if I was a solo practice on a different area of law, like, I don't know, immigration, corporate, whatever, you name it, right? But with Web3, the growth has been crazy. And not that I wish bad to anyone, but the problems that are arising gives me more clients. And it makes people have a better perspective of having the need of an attorney early on your project or whatever venture you're doing than later on. A lot of people are like, yeah, but I'm just starting up. I don't need an attorney. I'm like, well, you do need an attorney, not because you have a problem, but because you want to avoid one.
Sure. Like any other business, you have an attorney.
It's a funny thing because say you have a business, you need to put money into the website. You need to put money into designing. That it is equally as important to have a website as it is to have an attorney in cryptocurrency. Not in cryptocurrency, but in Web3, who understands how the business moves, what the needs are, what the weak points are, what the target points are from the government perspective. What is it that they're looking for if they were to peer into your project? And these things, developers don't know about it. Designers don't know. Creators don't know. And the reason they don't know is not because they're not knowledgeable. It's because this is not their strength as much as it is not my strength to code or to design the most amazing NFT art that you could ever imagine. Like, I can't do that. That's not my strength. And I'm not going to hate myself for that. So, it's try to get knowledge for the legal aspect of whatever is it that you're doing in Web3, maybe by just looking at my videos. My videos give you a very simple explanation of what not to do, what to expect, what is it that you're dealing with. And this is just like superficially touching base on the legal needs of any project. but understand that you need to have this money aside for a legal attorney. It doesn't have to be me, just someone who understands what is it that you're doing that will help you navigate the strange waters of the legal needs that you will have that you don't know you have. And that's the dangerous part. The needs that you don't know.
Don't know. I think that's really valuable and just very important information. Like, people are pretending that, that this isn't, they want to make the big money, as you said, but they're pretending that it's not real by not taking care of these really important matters.
Yeah. And
so get ahead of it.
Definitely. And, but coming back to the misconception question, I think I have a third one. And that is that being decentralized doesn't mean you're lawless. It doesn't mean you don't have to abide by the law. You're still operating on a jurisdiction. Doesn't matter where in the globe. You still have a jurisdiction. Doesn't mean that because you're in the blockchain, you're jurisdiction-less. You're still a human being who lives in a specific location in the globe who's operating a business. It doesn't mean that because you're decentralized, you're just 100% bulletproof from any jurisdiction and any law requirement for you to operate your business. And it's not just the location where you're at, it's also the location that your market is reaching. Meaning, if I click enter from South Florida, where I'm sitting here right now, and I do something with a sanctioned country, I'll be sanctioned because I'm in South Florida. Even though I'm not operating as Nicolle LaFosse, I'm operating over a corporate structure, an LLC, whatever you want, a DAO, even a DAO. I'll still be liable because I'm operating from with a sanctioned country, even though I am a DAO. And the person on the receiving end will also be sanctioned by the United States because you're in a sanctioned country. So that's a big misconception that because you're operating within the blockchain, you're lawless. That is definitely not true. Because you're decentralized, you're also lawless. That is absolutely not true.
Really good point. I heard somewhere, maybe I'm wrong, I heard somewhere that you perhaps may have an NFT project coming down the road sometime soon. Is that fact or fiction?
That is a fact. Can
you give us a little teaser?
Yeah, of course. So, well, I have designed an NFT. I didn't design it. Someone designed it for me. It wouldn't be as good looking if I designed it. So I have this NFT for my OG crypto clients. And what I'm doing is I'm giving them this NFT with a utility that I'm still in the works of putting together. I want to have, I want to give back to my clients for putting their trust in me on handling their Web3 needs. Because for me, it's like you gave me your baby, you gave me your newborn, and you're telling me, make sure this newborn is a successful professional for the future. And for me, that is priceless. That is something very valuable, and I would like to reward my clients for doing that. So it's a limited edition NFT. I have a selected number of NFTs only. And whomever has this NFT will have a very unique utility that is designed to cover each person's corporate or individual needs. It's not going to be a utility that is like one utility for everyone. Everybody will have their own crafted utility because I want it to be so unique that it works for you. Now, if you sell it, that's on you, but the utility might not be as useful to the person who's buying it, or maybe it is. But, there's limitations because to some people, the utility is a one-on-one attorney. I don't know, like I can't disclose it, but like an attorney gem type of deal. That you only
That's amazing.
You were my client,
That's amazing. I love that. I love the innovation, and I think this is technology that's going to touch everybody in every industry. So that's really cool. My one piece of unsolicited advice for you is to, within your content, definitely share this process of doing this and providing this value to to your clients, because I think that's super valuable that you're actually going through the process.
Yeah.
That a lot of your clients are. So I think they'll look at you at an even higher level for understanding that.
I oversaw that. I'm definitely going to include it.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of your content. Please follow. Why don't you plug, instead of the end, why don't you plug all of your handles now? Where can we see your content?
Let me see. Do I put it in the chat?
Well, you could. I'll definitely put it up in the show notes, but just LaFosse Law at LaFosse Law.
Yeah. So on Twitter, you can look at me at Black Swan ESQ. On Instagram at LaFosse_law, and then LinkedIn, just look up my name. LinkedIn is the one page that I put the most content on. I constantly feed it with videos, comments, cases that are interesting. And then I just started my Facebook page. It's not that developed yet. I stopped I stopped using Facebook for so many years that now I feel I'm so new at it, trying to see where do I have to click and whatnot. But I also have my Facebook page, LaFosse Law, if you want to follow me there.
Amazing.
And I have a YouTube channel that I just started this week, last week, I think.
Let's go. So I will link up everything in the show notes.
Perfect.
Really valuable information. And it's a great way, if you're one of these people that have been avoiding this, it's a great way to kind of easily submerge yourself into the important aspects of your crypto life, whether you are a founder, creator, flipper, whatever. It's going to touch everyone. So Nikki, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I wanted to do one more last quick segment. It's called Micro Macro Spitfire. So I'm going to throw a whole bunch of questions at you quickly. Okay. You could give a general macro yes/no answer really quick, or you could get the microscope out and really explain why. All right. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Who is someone that needs to be followed if they're just getting into VeeFriends for the first time?
Gary V.
What is your favorite teacher and one reason why?
Paula Arias from University of Miami, and she was my mentor at University of Miami, and now she's become a friend. She's the one attorney who gave me her hand and her time when I was a student in law school and I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
I love that. What's a secret talent you have that most people don't know about?
I'm an abstract painter myself. I do abstract painting in real canvas. I try to do it using Procreate and I completely failed at it.
Well, failing's good.
It is.
Keep at it.
I couldn't sell my own art, and if I wanted to on Procreate, I'm much better at just doing it in plain old canvas.
Good to know. Good to know. That is an interesting fact. If something happened and you had to get rid of all of your social media profiles, but only keep one, which would you keep?
Depends, for fun or for professional aspects.
If you could only keep one.
LinkedIn.
We know VeeCon 2023 is going to be in Indianapolis, but what is your early prediction for where VeeCon 2024 might be?
Wow. We don't even know how far this can get because it's gone so far already, and it's gone to Mattel, to doing stuffed animals, and geez, it's gotten into major brands. I think 2024, he's just going to make sure that everybody knows what is an NFT and how to use blockchain technology to upscale your business, whatever the business is that you're dealing with. I think he'll make that happen. Right now, a lot of people don't know much about NFTs. They know the bad noise that's going around, but they don't know how to use it to their advantage because they're scared of it. So the educational part will definitely be there enough for people to start saying, let me try this blockchain technology to, upscale my business and to make processes more efficient.
I love it. You personally, would you prefer a bougie hotel experience or hiking and camping out in the woods?
Hiking. I like hiking. I like outdoors. I'm an outdoor fan.
Wine, beer, or coffee?
Beer.
Gratitude gorilla or patient pig?
Gratitude gorilla.
Favorite movie?
Oof. Well, I have a couple. I love Moana.
I'm very well educated on Moana.
I'm sure you are. In all the frozen variations.
Yeah, I know all of them. Moana's a classic. That opening number gets me every time.
Oh my God, I love it. Well, I'm a surfer fan, so,
Oh, cool.
Moana, it's my cartoon type of thing.
Amazing. Would you rather have a 2-hour group dinner experience with Gary, so let's say you and 9 other people, or a 10-minute one-on-one?
The group experience. I think we can all learn more about other people's experience and listening from the feedback that he provides than having a one-on-one 10-minute of what is it that I need, instead of learning what is it that you need that you didn't know you needed.
Mm. That's deep. That's really deep. I love that. And lastly, if you could ask Gary one question and you had to answer it, what would you ask him?
Wow. Huh. That's a tough one. I would need to think about that one because I know. So, and this is my own perspective. A lot of the questions that he gets asked, he gets the same answer back, which is a cool thing. But like everybody asks him, like, how is it that I make it to be you? Or how is it do I get to be a billionaire or millionaire? How do I get my project, my firm, my practice to be successful? So I don't want to like throw a generic, like, how do I make my practice successful? Or how do I make myself a happier person? Because those questions are a lot of like, you got to put in the work, the time. You want to be happier, make different decisions, change things that make you unhappy. So I think there's a deeper question that I couldn't answer right away because a lot of like listening to what he says and what he preaches gives me the answers to many of those questions that I would have had for him.
So, surprise, surprise, you need to strategize on it. And,
surprise.
Think about it. I wouldn't expect anything less. Nicolle, I can't thank you enough for your time. You're just a wealth of knowledge and just the sweetest soul. Please, guys, follow LaFosse Law, Black Swan Esquire, all of the things in the show notes. She's about to crush 2023 and beyond, and can't wait to see you at VCon, if not before. And we'll definitely stay connected. This was awesome.
Definitely. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate having me here. It's been amazing talking to you, and I hope we can meet in real life very soon.
Thank you. Have the best day.
You too. Bye.